Paul, you in the shot, man. You gonna walk in the shot and just leave the room? That's cool, man. You gonna leave? Alright, see ya, man. Hey, what's up everyone? Danny here. In this video, we're going to be checking out the Velocifire EVM02 wireless vertical mouse, which goes on Amazon for around $15. And if you look at the product page, nowhere in the description does it say anything about gaming. What you do see though are keywords like ergonomic, comfortable, and strain, which is exactly what this mouse is meant for. It's targeted towards people who have wrist pain from being on the computer for long hours, which may come in the form of carpal tunnel syndrome, arthritis, or other various forms of wrist injury. And I'm actually one of those people. I have lupus with similar symptoms to rheumatoid arthritis, so I've dealt with wrist pain in the past from being on the computer for too long. And at my work actually, at my day job, where I'm on the computer most of the day, I use a vertical mouse. A much more expensive one though. I was fortunate enough to not have to pay for it myself because it was provided by my company. But I have been using a vertical mouse every single day at work for the past few years, so I am a bit familiar with the form factor. So let's check this out and see if it's something that you might be interested in. Before we dive into the mouse itself, let me try to explain the concept behind vertical mice. The whole point of its shape is to keep your hand in a more natural position. To make your palm face down when using a conventional mouse, it requires pronating the wrist or turning it inwards, which strains it. You can try this at home right now on your computer as you're watching this. Lift your hand up as if you're giving a handshake with your wrist completely relaxed. Then turn it so that your palm is facing completely down. You should feel some pressure in your wrist and forearm. Now add in some finger movements and that feeling should become even more apparent. Now turn your hand back to the vertical position and then move your fingers and you should notice that it's more comfortable. The difference may feel small in the few seconds that you just did that, but add that up over the course of many hours over multiple days, weeks, months, and even years, and it could cause discomfort and even long-term wrist pain. So vertical mice try to help alleviate that. Hopefully this explanation and exercise help you understand this a little bit more, but now onto the mouse itself. The EVM02 comes in a small compact box not much larger than the mouse itself. Inside you have the mouse, which is wrapped in a thin soft foam pouch and some paperwork. There's not too much exciting information in the documentation and there's no warranty information in it, but according to Amazon this has a 12-month warranty. If you've never used or seen a vertical mouse before, this is going to look a bit odd. This still has all the features and functions of a standard mouse, but it's laid out in a vertical orientation. And due to the nature of being vertical and curvier to ergonomically fit your hand, this mouse is asymmetric and can only be used in the right hand. On the palm side you have your right click, left click, middle mouse button and scroll wheel, and a DPI changer which switches between 800, 1200, and 1600 DPI. On the thumb side there's the front and back buttons. The material covering most of the mouse is a soft matte plastic which feels good to the touch. On the bottom surface, it's hard plastic with 4 smooth pads for ease of gliding on whatever surface it's on. I couldn't find any information on the optical sensor, which isn't surprising as this isn't a very well known or popular mouse, but I'd assume at this price point it's just a generic sensor that's thrown into a lot of these sub $30 mice you can find on Amazon. Opening up the battery door, there's a place to store the wireless dongle, and this uses 2 AAA batteries which are not included, and I haven't owned the mouse for long enough to give a good gauge on the battery life since that could take up to months or even years to find out. There is a power saving mode though that shuts the mouse off if it's idle for more than 8 minutes, and clicking left or right will turn it back on. There's also a wired version of this that costs $1 less for those of you who hate batteries. The only lighting on this mouse, aside from the optical sensor, is right below where the thumb rests where there's a translucent strip. This light comes on when you first turn on the mouse, and it blinks each time you change the DPI settings. 1 blink when it's at 800 DPI, 2 blinks for 1200 DPI, and 3 blinks for 1600 DPI. There's no permanent indicator to let you know which DPI you're currently at. It's roughly 4.5 inches long and 3.5 inches at the widest part where the knuckles sit, and weighs just shy of 120 grams with batteries. Since this mouse doesn't follow a conventional shape, it's hard to give guidance as to if it'll be a good fit for your hand or not. I can show you this though. These are the dimensions of my hand, and this is my hand relative to the mouse. I think if you have average or smaller hands by standards of conventional mice, then this would work for you, but larger hands might have fingers overhanging. The clicks are on the heavier side and they feel really solid and tactile. Here's a sound comparison to a few mice I have on hand. When it comes to wireless latency, I couldn't come to a super meaningful conclusion, and that's mainly because I don't have sophisticated enough tools to measure it. The only way I could do it was using humanbenchmark.com, which is basically a website where you test your reaction speed by clicking when the screen tells you to. As you can imagine, doing this has a lot of room for human error and inconsistencies. I did my best though, and these are the results I got. The average click speeds were about the same compared to my wired mouse, but I managed to get my fastest click with the Velocifire, surprisingly enough. Does that mean that it has the same or less input lag as a wired mouse? No, not really. It just means that I was slightly faster that one time, and my reaction is likely too slow to push the limit of the wireless signal. As for tracking, this mouse performs well for my uses. It's consistent and accurate for tasks such as browsing and video editing, and I haven't experienced any skipping or jittering issues. However, I cannot comment on how it would perform for super precise tracking, such as for high levels of gaming, because I'm just a filthy casual. For the games that I do leisurely play though, such as Grand Theft Auto, Diablo 3, and the occasional Overwatch, it works fine, and I may start using this as my main all-around mouse just so I'm not switching between form factors whether I'm gaming or not. So that's an overview of the mouse. Now let's get nitpicky and look at some of the things that I think could be improved on, which for this mouse, there's only one thing that I found noteworthy of critiquing. This also happens to be a problem with most other vertical mice due to their shape, and that is the ability to lift off of the surface. With a lot of standard mice, the sides are designed so that you can grip them pretty easily with your thumb, ring finger, and pinky to lift the mouse up when you run out of tracking surface. With the EVM02 and most other vertical mice designs I've seen, it's not easy to lift due to the curved surface. On the thumb side, there's a nice large flat surface to grip on, but on the palm side, there's not. So when you try to lift it up, it kind of just slips and rotates between your fingers. Now, if you try really hard, you can lift it up without this happening, but it definitely doesn't come naturally and requires more effort until you get used to it. Other than that though, I don't really have any other suggestions to mention. So conclusion time, is this mouse worth it? And I would say it is. I've been using it as my main mouse for the past few weeks and I've had no glaring issues with it. The thing I mentioned earlier about the liftoff was just kind of suggestions for improvements. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, not to me anyways. So I'd say $15 is a justified price for this. So I'll have this as well as the wired version linked down below with my Amazon link just in case you're interested in picking one up. Now if you're skeptical about it and you're not sure if you want to drop $15 on one of these, then not to worry because I will be giving one away with the help of Velocifire. I asked them if they would be willing to give one away for free to the viewers and they happily agreed. So just drop a comment down below, let me know that you want to win one, as well as any other comments you have regarding the mouse itself or if you have any questions that I can maybe help answer. Now, unfortunately, this giveaway is only for mainland US residents. So if you're international or if you're like in Hawaii or Alaska, then you can't enter to win because the cost of shipping this mouse there will exceed the cost of the mouse itself. And Velocifire is the one who will be doing the shipping, so they're making the rules on this, not me. But good luck to anyone who is entering to try to win, and I will pick a winner about 1 week from the release of this video. But other than that, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. So if you enjoyed it or found it helpful at all, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content from me, please consider subscribing. Other than that, I look forward to reading all your comments down below as well as seeing you in the next video. Bye.